way out of it. And that's kind of what went through my mind about being under the table.
And that's why you didn't go under the table.
What am I going to do under that table? I'm going to have second thoughts. There's no good way out of that. At the very least, I could have left the letter, but I wasn't thinking.
To me, you get there, you see that's her dressing room, slide down to the door, my work here is done.
Yeah, but I didn't put a picture of myself in the letter, and I felt like she's not going to know. She's going to be an anonymous letter.
Maybe it's one of those deals where you want to leave things to the imagination.
But I felt
she goes, oh, who is this writing this letter? This Matthew Jankovic. He looks like a Chad Kroger in my mind.
Don't even get me started on...
Are you jealous of Chad Kroger?
Oh, I've been jealous of everybody. Ever since that moment. That moment was the moment that my life didn't take that direction.
There was that next step where you were going to become best friends.
Yeah.
You're traveling to Japan with Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
Eating sushi on a jet plane. Instead, you've never met Avril Lavigne.
No. Instead, that is the moment that my life veered one way when it should have veered a different way. And it was all because she had a bad set or was in a bad mood. You know.
So hold on. I feel like
maybe
there's...
wouldn't have met
okay.
Derek Whibley. So
they're like, and everybody out. And you're like, maybe under the table. I feel like the story's not over.
It's basically over. I mean,
No, I'm looking into your eyes. I feel like you're leaving out an important detail of like where a guy grabbed you by your corduroy jacket and threw you out the back door.
No, it's I was I was panicked. I was like, no, I can't leave. So I started making increasingly desperate pleas to say, it's like, well, no, I have to stay because, and I was like, I brought up how I have the letter and it was not a good time. It was bad. Like, they were very nice about it. They were like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, everyone has to leave. She's just in a bad mood. And I passed the point of being, of keeping any dignity, in that, in just like, it's like, really, there's
Were you
nothing
crying and begging?
No. But I'm just this sweaty 15-year-old with a letter.
With a sweaty letter.
And so all I have from that experience.
Did you keep your lavalier?
The lanyard?
The lanyard, sorry.
Lavalier.
Lavalier is a little microphone.
No, I didn't keep it. I don't know what I did that night. Like, I eventually took the train home, but all I have as a memento is the letter that I wrote to her, which I don't understand why I didn't slip it under her door or throw it in. I could have, as a last-ditch effort, just thrown it in. And a picture of me and one of the people from Simple Plan. And okay. I look really happy, but it's because I think I'm about to meet Avril Lavigne. If there was a picture of me after that, it's just like a wreck. Like, this is where my life went wrong.
I've got some questions. So Matthew, was this the end of your Avril Lavigne quest? Because you were like, I got so close, like you flew too close to the sun, and you knew after that point it would never happen?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Because that was it. There were no
no relapses
to get her postal code and send her this letter in the mail.
No, I think at that point I started wishing for her failure because I was like,
really?
Yeah, because
she was in a bad mood one night, and now you're wishing that she has a failed career.
But that's not the reason. That's not the reason I was wishing for it. I was wishing for it more because I had gotten so closer than I will ever get again.
And, you never know that, man.
And it's like when you're playing a video game and you've worked so hard, and then you're working on something. Maybe you've written a whole novella or something, and then your computer crashes and it's gone. Oh, yeah. And you're like, well, I'm not doing any of that again because
I did that's it. Forget
and
it.
You never want to hear about that topic again. This is the same way I was like, I never want to hear about Avril Lavigne again, and I hope she does badly. I hope her career kind of fizzles out because
then you won't hear about her.
Then I don't have to hear about how well she's doing and how that could have been us.
I guess so, Matthew.
I could have been Chad Kroger.
I mean,
I wouldn't have had a singing career, but I could have been.
Maybe you would have.
Maybe I could have been in Nickelback.
It's not impossible. Yeah. I guess
I could have sang "Hero" with Josie Scott on top of a building.
Yeah.
I could have. So much. My life could have been so different.
This is still kind of remarkable to me. Okay, so it doesn't work out. It seems like there's like a black hole in your memory. So you're like, and then they told us to leave, and some hours passed, and I took the train home.
That's me.
Did you go on a bender? What happened? Did you like angrily eat a Big Mac? What happened?
No, I think I was just in shock. I was like, I was so close. I was so close, and now no, nothing bad happened, but I was not very happy. I was like kind of depressed.
Were you angry or like sad?
Sad. I wasn't angry at anybody.
Missed my chance.
Yeah, missed my chance. Then was thinking of all the things I could have done. I think I revisited
Replayed
the
that
idea.
situation in your mind.
Yeah, thought about maybe hiding under the table wasn't as bad an idea as I thought.
No, it's a worse idea than you thought. I think. I think we've already covered that with your closet comparison.
Mm.
I think hiding under the table could have been one of the worst things you could have done.
I don't know,
Because
man.
then when you pop out, no matter when you pop out, she's already upset. Now you startled her. Why is this boy under my table? He's got a sweaty letter for me. She's probably not even reading the letter. If you just slid it under the door, I think you'd have a better chance of her reading that letter. Just out of curiosity, then like, hi, I've been hiding under your table for a while here. I've got a sweaty letter for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a regret.
So now, Avril Lavigne kind of disappeared for a while. She's kind of come back. She had like a very Japanese themed single where she was like dancing with Japanese girls and like eating sushi or whatever. Are you down with new Avril Lavigne?
No, I haven't been following it because it's
I think it's a good
wound.
thing that you guys never became friends.
Why?
Well,
That's
I mean,
a horrible thing to
look
say.
at how easily you turned on her. If you guys had one argument as friends, it may have all been over.
I didn't turn
And
on
you've
her.
broken poor little Avril Lavigne's little Ontarian heart.
I didn't turn on her. That's the thing.
Yeah, you did.
No, I turned on my dreams, my ambitions is what I just let slip away.
So wait, after you weren't able to give Avril Lavigne a sweaty letter, what's the point of anything?
Basically, yeah. I mean, in a nutshell, that's. I had to reevaluate my life because my last year was like, meet Avril, become friends with Avril, and then my life is set up.
Set.
Yeah, and I'm not going in the. I'm not going to like get to the point where I'm capturing her in a canvas sack or anything or doing creepy things.
Well,
I'm not.
no, that's straight up kidnap. I feel like that's worse than just being creepy.
Like, you could do that kind of thing as a joke, Kidnap her as a joke, and then when you get her attention, be like, I
Kidnap
just want to
someone
get
in
your
a canvas
attention.
bag. It's just a joke. It's a funny joke.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of one time. Here's a story. That
Yeah.
reminds me of one time a year or two after high school. I didn't have a job during the summer, and I had a car that was technically owned by my parents. And they told me that if I didn't get a job, they were going to sell the car. So I started going into town and hanging out at school during the summer and just pretending I had a job. Just kind of kill a day pretending to have a job.
Okay.
And one day a friend of mine tells me, we're going to have a picnic. My buddy has this van. We're going to pick everyone up and we're going to go on the picnic. I'm like, okay, cool. And I meet one of my friends. He says, meet me at this metro station. All right, we'll be coming in a van. Like it's a big, it looks like a plumber's van, like a big unmarked van. Okay, cool. And I get there, and my buddy pops out with a wolf mask and like jokingly kidnaps me and throws me in the back of the van. And I'm like, oh, okay, haha.
Oh, so you weren't afraid? It was
No,
clearly a joke.
I was like, I know the people.
Yeah.
This is clearly one of my friends with a wolf mask. That's cool. And I get thrown in, and it's a neat van. Like the inside of the van has all got like long hairs, like a
horrifying van.
gorilla costume.
Okay.
And so when you were driving with the windows down, it sort of like flowed like wheat fields. It was kind of lovely.
This sounds like a nightmare, though.
Well,
If
it
you were
had a
actually
chandelier.
kidnapped, you'd remember this differently.
I guess. That's right. It had a chandelier in it, and it had I forget what they call it, but it was the bench style seat was sideways, facing the sliding door. So if the sliding door was open, you'd be looking directly outside.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting down, I'm buckled up, we're chuckling, whatever. We go to pick up the next person in our group, and it was a girl we knew, Alex, and my buddy jumped out with this wolf mask again, grabs and goes, "Oh, you're coming with me," and like throws her in the back of the van, and we're chuckling, and we drive off and continue on our way. And then we pick up another friend, same sort of thing, but we were like maybe even a little rougher with him, and he was like screaming for help as a joke.
Oh,
But you know, then not minutes later, I'm like, "Hey, is that cop car? That cop car is coming for us. We should pull over." "Yeah, he's for sure coming for us." Okay, so we pull over, and it turns out that the call was for the girl being kidnapped, and the man being kidnapped who was screaming for help. Nobody cared. And the police questioned us. They like within 2 minutes we had 6 cop cars surrounding us. Like it went really quickly from one cop car pulled us over and like was saying something through his speaker at us, and the driver was like, "What are you saying? I can't hear you. Should I just throw the keys out the window? What am I supposed to do? Should I get out?" "No, you stay in." Oh. To like him leaning out the window going, "I can't hear you," until they just stopped and walked over and started talking to us. Bunch of other cop cars surround us, and no one's really talking to us. They're just telling us to wait until one regular car comes up, and a guy in a suit comes strolling out. I'm like, "Who's this like curious Clarence who wants to know what's up here?" A bunch of cop cars, he's curious.
FBI.
He comes strolling up. He was a detective.
Oh man!
And he sets his one foot on the entrance of the sliding van door and starts talking to us, telling us like, "Oh, so what's going on here? Like, what's the plan?" And like, it's a curious looking van, and it's a guy in a wolf mask, and he's like grabbing people and throwing them in the van.
We've seen this before.
It's it's very sketchy, and they started like questioning us. Like they took the girl out and started asking her questions to see if our story matched her story, because maybe we're like, "You just tell them we're going for a picnic or whatever," right?
Yeah.
But we had like steaks and frisbees and stuff in
exactly
cooler.
What you'd want if
Yeah, I guess so.
someone
I guess
came to question you.
A little travel barbecue, and like one of the one of the detectives was like asking her information. And she said, like, "How tall are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm 5'11", 3/4. Yeah, I know, I'm not exactly 6 feet. I'm just a little shy of 6 feet. All right, whatever.
Sounds like code.
And I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." And then my buddy's like, and he's a tourist. And he's like, "What, are you flirting with her? She's just asking for your height." So that went on for a bit. Long story short, all of our stories matched up because we knew how long we'd known each other. Because they asked these other, like, "Okay, so how long have you known this person? Where did you meet?" And all those stories lined up because it was just like, "Oh yeah, we go to the same school. I've known her a few months. I don't know. She got in the van at this time. We picked her up there." You could check our cell phones where we're texting each other minutes before these people get picked up in the van.
Yeah.
Now the real issue for me this whole time was not like, am I going to get arrested for kidnapping? Because I felt like, no way is that going to happen. We haven't kidnapped anyone. My concern was, oh no, my parents are going to find out that I've been lying about going to work. And I actually just got arrested for kidnapping someone on my way to a picnic when I'm supposed to be at work.
Could have gone differently if it had been on the maybe your way out of this could have been, if you thought things were going south, you play the victim.
Where I've been kidnapped?
You'd be like, "Oh, thank God. I like the second you get away from them, you're like, they just grabbed me. They told me if I didn't listen, they would kill the girl." They're like, and that way you get away, and then you can tell them, it's like, "Listen, my parents think that I'm working. Can you keep me out of the news on this?
Oof,
I'll give you whatever information you need on these guys, but keep me out of
it." And all that happened, they questioned us for a half hour, and then we drove like another 2 blocks. We were right near the park. We parked. We fired up the barbecue, played frisbee for a while. Each had like some hamburgers or something. It was great.
With the cops and detectives?
No.
Oh,
no, cops weren't involved after that. I think they may have even taken his werewolf mask. I may be remembering this wrong. Either, I think they said like, "Why do you even have that mask?" He's like, And it was a thing of his where he would go to like hardcore rock shows with a wolf mask, and people